can hear us on the phone.
Yeah, I could hear you guys.
Awesome.
Do you hear an echo or is it good? Because I put the volume down on the computer.
Okay. I think it's good. I think it sounds good actually. Yeah.
Okay,
Cool. All right. I see
sweet.
Anna as well. How you doing, Anna? AJ, Peanutty, uh, Dad Bob. Thank you guys for joining. And thanks for anyone that's
Hey,
on the live
everyone.
stream as well. All right. So I think let's go ahead. Yeah, we go ahead and get started. If you guys are in here, please appreciate if you guys could comment below in the Twitter space, retweet it so we can get more people in the room as well. I would greatly appreciate that. Usually I like to start it off in case we have anybody new to the space or listening to this for the first time, a little bit about what this space is all about. Then I'll hand it over to Jenny to introduce our guest for today, Sarkis, and then we're going to jump into kind of our usual interview style questions, get to know Sarkis a little bit better, talk about his story, about flow state, about a bunch of topics, and then would love to then have people come up and request if you guys want to talk with us, chat a little bit, ask a question. Would greatly appreciate that. So feel free to request later on if you want to come up and speak as well. So this is basically a space that we started to interview and highlight amazing Web3 artists. We felt that there was other spaces that just gave a very short period of time for people to talk about themselves and chill art. So we really wanted to go deeper here, really get to know more about the artists behind the art, and hoping that way, people that already maybe are following the artist can get to know them better, know a little bit more about their inspiration, what drives them, other passions they have. Maybe they could also reach some new collectors. And also by hearing their stories, maybe we could inspire other people to start creating art of their own, exploring that artistic side of themselves as well. So it's a very inclusive space. We welcome artists of all nationalities, backgrounds, artistic styles, whether they have a lot of followers or just starting out. We want to really celebrate how art and creativity bring us all together. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Jenny, who's going to introduce our guest for today.
Thank you. Sarkis is a prolific intuitive painter, digital artist, photographer, and creator. Creating art is as much a part of life to Sarkis as breathing air. His art is expressive, free-flowing, and truly unique. His more recent collections, The Time Travelers, invites us to see ourselves as timeless and limitless beings. Sarkis's art is in the homes of many collectors worldwide, and he has exhibited his art in several in-person events in New York City. His social media posts are always rich in content and showcase his amazing talents. In addition to this, Sarkis is a healer, a cherished friend, and a valuable member of our community who holds space for anyone in need of healing and a listening ear. And with that, Giancarlo and I welcome Sarkis to the space.
Oh, wait. Sorry, you got to unmute on the phone.
Wow, that was amazing. What an introduction. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate both of you guys. And I appreciate everybody who's here. I see Alyssa, Peanutty, Anna, Anastasia, Rock of AJs, and all the friends right here. Yeah, I'm just really excited for this. I've been looking forward to this interview for a while now. I remember talking about the potential of doing this like a couple of months ago with Jennifer. So it's been a long time coming, and yeah, I'm ready. Uh,
Cool.
I mean, whatever you guys want to ask me, I'm ready to answer all your questions.
Well,
I'm an open book.
awesome. No, thank you so much, Sarkis. And we really appreciate having you as our guest here. And yeah, also definitely been looking forward to this space and getting to know you on a more personal level. Even though we have already interacted a lot, I'm sure we'll still uncover some new things, and it'll be a beautiful conversation. So let's start it off with maybe take 5 minutes and tell us a little bit more about yourself. Like who is Sarkis? A little more about your story, your upbringing, and then how you eventually came into this whole Web3 space.
Cool. So I was born in Istanbul, Turkey, and I was born into a wonderful, loving family, and there was a lot of uh, art and creativity in the household. We always watched, um, you know, creative things, and we went to all the movies, and we were always involved in the arts as consumers. And um, my father was an artist, and he made sculptures from silver and kind of like jewelry sculptures, which is really cool. And my mom was also very creative, also made jewelry, and was a tailor, and was a very creative person. And uh, I was really into music, so right away off the bat, I was singing before I was even speaking, and I was just really into the arts off the bat. And I began to draw when I was like 5 years old, and I was drawing like realism. I was drawing things that I would see and try to copy them and try to like see shadow and light and like replicate what I was able to see. And that was my way of just kind of like going within and kind of getting away from like the dysfunctional aspect of what was happening around me. What even though it was a loving family full of creativity, it was also dysfunctional, like a lot of us, our families can be growing up. And I had to like witness or hear some things that kids should not at that age or at any age. It was difficult times in the beginning for the first like 8 years, and then we moved to New York when I was 8 years old from Turkey. And uh, that had its own challenges because we came here with no money, with nothing, and with no status, and built from scratch and as a family. So we stuck together, and um, we kind of left my father behind because of the trouble that he has gotten into and gotten us into. So it was a very, sort of dramatic times, and lots of growth happened during that time. A lot of like awareness and trauma at the same time. So like that trauma needed to be healed, and art was always there for me. Art was always like something I could turn to. I could always create. I could always take photos. I could always like be in the moment and capture a beautiful thing that I see around me and be grateful for it. And or I could draw something and like escape this reality that's around me and go into like this metaphysical realm. And I always knew I was an artist, so I grew up wanting to pursue art. And like a lot of us, I was told that you can't really make a living off of it, or you're going to be a starving artist and this and that. Like I've heard it all from friends and some family, but most of the time my family has been very supportive. Like my immediate family has been very supportive, and like they they know that I'm meant to be an artist, and I'm here for a reason, and they support my vision and mission, and that's a blessing. That's a big blessing. So I'm very grateful for that. And I've since I've been pursuing art all my life, I've done different uh, things within the art world and within different creative industries. I've been a graphic designer, art director, professional photographer, fashion photographer, um, and I've played music, classical music, for like 6 years of my life, and I'm just open to like creating with everything, and using all the tools and all the mediums to express myself, and to also capture not only like what's going on around me, but to capture how I feel about what's going on around me, and what I want to say about what's going on in this universe that we're living in, because it's far beyond the realities that we're individually living in. So it's been a very spiritual process. I've done a lot of growing and expanding of my consciousness, and like realizing who I really am later on in life, much more, and kind of like finding and healing myself, and finding my peace, and finding the strength and the power to say that I am forgiving, and I am just letting go of what is no longer serving me, and only embracing things that are positive and loving, um, and with the intention of being better, being a better human, not just a better artist, or better at whatever I do in terms of skill set. Like, that is something that I'm going to do regardless, because I do what I love every day. And as long as I do it every day, I'm going to get better at it. So I'm not worried about that. I'm more interested in, like, how can I be a better person in every way, in every aspect of life, you know?
Wow, no, that's beautiful, and thank you for sharing, about your story, and sorry about the traumas and things you had to face, early on, with the dad, and before, and I'm sure coming to America, I know it had its, like you said, its own challenges, because I'm also was immigrated from here from Colombia, and I know when coming from another country and all that, and especially if you don't have a lot of means, it can be really difficult, but no, that's cool, and I love that you had support from your family, to really pursue art, despite the fact that there was people say, like, naysayers, and people saying that you wouldn't be able to make a living. And love to hear that you've been going through this journey of like healing and improving and all that. And I was curious, like, when did that actually kind of happen for you? Like, was there to kind of a more of a gradual process, you think, like over the years of doing more of that introspection and healing, and I was curious, like, yeah, like, so how that happened, and how that's maybe kind of had any influences also on your art, and the stuff that you're creating.
Yeah, that's a great question. It definitely is like a gradual and a series of sort of awakenings that happen um, from experiences and heartbreaks and art, like just the process of living, right? Like going through the emotions of living, and being a human being, and learning how to love, and learning how to love ourselves, and learning how to receive love. Um, it's it's been a very interesting, and like at times very painful, because it's like being very sensitive, as like a highly sensitive artist, a highly sensitive person um who like kind of self-diagnosed as ADHD, because like just connected all the dots from all my past, and it just all makes sense, that I have a neurodivergence, and it's the reason why I am also who I am in a very like creative and unique way, and that neurodivergence is like a good thing in my point of view, because I know what it's like to live a life full of art, and full of like love and creativity, and all of these like flow state um, magic that I've been experiencing because of how my brain works, I wouldn't trade it for anything. You know, I wouldn't want to have, I wouldn't want to be someone else or have a different brain in any way. And, you know, that kind of empowered me finding out, rather than the opposite of like, hey, like I need to like fix myself. Like, no, like I don't feel like I need to fix myself. I feel like I could just be more myself, and like feed my strengths and focus on the things that I love, that I'm good at. And life is just really great that way. Like, I don't need to conform to
Mm-hmm.
what is considered typical or neurotypical, in that in that sense. But um, yeah, I think that we all have very special gifts, and like we're here for a purpose and a reason, to share that gift with others that provides value to their lives one way or another. And I believe that my art is an expression of who I am and what's going on in my brain, and what I can tap into, the energies I could like tap into using that like antenna. I believe brains are like antennas, and they pick up on information and energies and thoughts. Yeah, so that's where I'm at with who I am. I believe that I'm an infinite being, and I'm able to channel that infinite being.
Yeah, and there was something that you kind of, some of the things you said, like just deeply, hit me on a very emotional level. That whole piece about really accepting and loving who you are, and the fact that you said, yeah, you're neurodiverse, and ADHD and all these things, and there's a lot of message that we get from people and society, right, that like you have to be a certain way, or that these things are maybe viewed as negatives, right, as things that you need to correct or fix. But I love that you framed it as this is a big part of like who you are, and actually, in fact, it's actually a gift, right? It's actually a gift that's and allowed you to be more creative, to maybe feel more, to tap into something bigger than yourself. So that's beautiful, and I love that. And as a parent of someone that's neurodiverse as well, it's just yeah, it's just making me think about my daughter, and like, okay, yeah, I need to love all the things that maybe sometimes are really challenging, but it's what helps make her special. And I know that with those qualities and things, she will, change the world. So, yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I'm glad you see it like that. It's so important to embrace humans as who they are,
Definitely.
because we're all gifted. We're all geniuses in what we love. You just got to find what we love, and nurture that thing that we love doing and being, and just keep being that. Because if we can continue being and growing in the direction that we're meant to go in, things align, like magic happens. Like, we meet people like you guys, like we became friends, and we are growing communities together. And it's like we're talking about these topics that are important, and healing us as a collective, not just myself. Because like the artist's journey is first to like you know create and be in the process, and find who you are, and realize who you are, and heal yourself first. And then once you're able to heal yourself through your expression and truth, um, then it's kind of, I believe it's my duty um, to share that process, to share the knowledge and the wisdom that I gained from those experiences, so that in the hopes of one other soul listening in that space, that it could change their life for the better going forward. Like, realize that you got, infinite potential in this life, and it's really up to all of us. Like, it's up to you what you want to do with that potential today, and every day. It's like, it's a decision we got to make. Like, are we going to make that decision to be and create and to love, or are we going to make the decision to fear, to not be, and to not do, to be fearful of doing and being, which is going to get us nowhere. So, if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards, because time is ticking. you know Time is another topic that we're going to discuss today, so that's also really abstract. Yeah.
I have a question for you. For those who are listening, either on the stream or in the space, who are not familiar with what flow state is and how it connects to your intuitive style of creating, could you explain it and explain how you're able to create within this state of being?
Yeah. So flow state is the act of fully being immersed in the moment and with the task at hand, or whatever you're doing in that moment, is fully being immersed into that moment with a certain level of skill that matches, and it matches that skill that you're doing. It really matches the level of which you're doing it at, and it's actually a little bit challenging. So the more challenging it is, or like, if it's kind of like unsure and you're just in the moment and you don't know, there's an element of, I don't know what's going to happen next, or I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this. That puts me in a flow state of like full immersion. And when I'm in that state, I am performing at my best. I'm performing at my potential. And I am tapped in to a higher frequency and a consciousness that I'm able to like channel, almost effortless flow, like water movements. And those movements create my paintings or whatever I'm doing. It could be like skateboarding or surfing, or just being present with my friends and family. Like, I could be in a flow state at any time, and it's a meditation. That's what flow state is. It's active meditation.
Cool, I love that. On Instagram, you have many reels that showcase how quickly you're actually able to create a piece of art. And I was hoping, since we're on a live stream, maybe you could show us. And for
Yeah.
anybody who's listening in the space, if you want to check this out, go to Giancarlo's page and you'll see it as one of the tweets and you can watch.
All right. Well, I have this set up, so I'll just get started real quick. Sometimes finding a brush that's not dried out is a challenge, because I forget to wash my brushes. But I'm never gonna waste them. Like, they're dry, but they're kind of like pieces of art for me. So I'm gonna like make a sculpture with them at some point. Yeah, I got this big brush here. Right. You know what? Who needs brushes, right? I have my hands. My favorite brushes.
If people are just joining, just in case you're hearing like silence, Sarkis is drawing something right now with his hands, and yeah, very quickly and beautiful piece. And so if you go to my Twitter page, you can see there on the live stream what he's making.
And I just took a quick snapshot with my and posted it to the top so folks can.
Awesome. I don't see it on the space for some reason posted. Or did you do it as a comment, Jenny, or as a?
I did. Maybe it's taking it a second.
Oh, maybe it's taking a second. Yeah. There it is. Cool.
And just like that, like an entire piece.
So dope.
Amazing.
Bravo. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that felt really good. Thank you for giving me the space to do that. Kind of needed that and didn't know I needed that.
Our pleasure, man. Our pleasure. No, it's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. I love it too. Got to be one of my favorites. One of my favorites, latest favorites. Yeah. How long was that? Was that like
I didn't
3-4 minutes?
I didn't like start a timer or anything. I don't know, Jenny. Do you know?
Maybe 3 minutes. Maybe.
Yeah, probably like 3-4 minutes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's so dope. So I know, you've done work on a lot of different, mediums and stuff like that. I wonder, do you have a particular medium that's your favorite to work in?
That's a good question. I really like all mediums, but I like acrylic a lot because it's very easy to work with. It dries very quickly. I move very quickly.
Mhm.
So I do love acrylic for that, but I also really love oil, and I love like watercolor and charcoal, and I really love it all. I really can't pick a favorite because then it like kind of limits me to that. I really like Posca markers, like these bad boys. These are like some of my favorites to walk around with, because I could draw anywhere with it, and like I create like a brush like tip with it, and I can just create on the go anywhere I want with it. So this is one of my favorite tools, actually.
Cool. No, thanks for sharing that. And yeah, and I think it makes sense. Yeah, like you're saying, like, just not limiting yourself to one thing, but being willing to kind of explore and try out different mediums. And yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I think just like adopting that like and mentality instead of or mentality, like has really taken my art to the next level too, because like I love mixed media. I love mixing medias on a canvas, and when I do that, there's like it's more dimensional that way because there's more textures, more variance in like the quality of the materials. So I don't know, that creates something that's even more interesting and deep in my point of view.
That's awesome. Now, you're a painter and a digital artist, but you're also a phenomenal photographer. How did you get into photography?
Photography was something that I had since I was a child as well. I actually was using these the disposable cameras, those film disposable cameras when I was like 8, 9. 10 years old, and I would just take pictures of everything, like random things I would see on the floor. I would find like beauty and literally like the most mundane things to, to the average person, like looking around, they would not care to photograph. Um, and my mom actually, I remember one time, like I was, I think 8 or 9 years old, and I was on like a class trip, and she came uh, as like a chaperone or something, and she was like the cool chaperone that like let us play and do things that normally we weren't allowed to do, but um and she got in trouble for it and everything. So I love my mom for that. Like, she's always like the cool parent. And at the time I was taking photographs during this trip with my disposable camera, and she's like, why are you taking photos of garbage on the floor when you can be like photographing all these new monuments that you're seeing and all these new things that you're seeing? Like, why are you choosing to photograph those things? I'm like, it's okay, mom, you don't understand. I'm going to be a famous artist and photographer one day, and you'll know what it means then. And I laugh about it now because like I was 8 years old or 9 years old when I said that. So it is funny, but it is sort of true too, because like I never stopped photographing, and I still photograph random things that and make them look beautiful. But as I got older, I started photographing everything and people and capturing beautiful moments, fleeting moments that you'll never experience or see again. And to capture the essence of a person's beauty, it became like a passion for me. Once I fell in love as a teenager, I was like, wow, my girlfriend was so beautiful, so I wanted to take photos of her, and she was taking photos of me, and it was just like a love language, right? Like capturing each other's essence and laughter and moments, and it just stuck with me, and I kept, photographing beauty after that, and I got into fashion, just like by happenstance, like meeting the right people, being in the right places, them seeing like me in the moment, like capturing something and like asking me, like, what are you shooting? And then I'll show them, and they're like, whoa, like, how'd you get that from that? Like, how did you
Right.
see that? And like, they'll see me take a photo of something, and then I'll show them the photo I took, and they're like, what the fuck? Like, how did you do that? So that got me a lot of like attention, and a lot of people asking me like, oh, can you photograph me? Like, I saw your photos of this person. I would love to hire you for headshots or portraits or whatever. So I started getting offers. Like, I wasn't even like looking for jobs or looking for work. People started offering me money. Like, I need a great photographer, and I love your work. And they would just keep coming and keep coming back. And they would wait for me like for months and like not shoot with someone else.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa, like there's something here. Like people really love what I'm doing here, and it's making them feel good about themselves. So that actually really clicked for me, that photography, and especially photographing people, was way deeper than capturing their physical beauty. And even when I like shoot with all these like beautiful models, and like objectively, yes, they're very beautiful, but they're also beautiful human beings. And like it's deeper than skin. So like if you could tap into like that human being soul, and you could like connect with them, and you can create like a moment that you could capture moments from, rather than creating a stage and like trying to pose a mannequin, which is not the way I approach photography or fashion photography at all. Like I want the model or the subject to be themselves and to be really present with me. And when they're really present with me and they're having a good time and we're having a moment, those moments that I can capture on camera express the feelings and that the essence of that person in that moment. So it's deeper than just their visual beauty, and it captures their soul. And that's why people love it. That's why they love it so much. And a lot of times most times they made the photos that I took, even the professionals made the photos that I took, they're like profile photos, and it would stay their profile photos for a long time. And I would see like on their phones, they would have like a photo that I took as their background. And that made me feel really good. I was like, this is really awesome. Like people are really appreciating what I create. And it just gives me more fuel to share what I do. I'm going to do it regardless, but to share that experience with other people and to keep like putting it out there, I think is, it not only heals people, but like helps people see the beauty in things and in people and in moments that maybe I feel like beauty and nature and the universe and God and all these things are intertwined and as one thing, and it's all one thing, and beauty is divine. So it's not like a superficial thing for me. Like beauty for me is very like, it's deep, it's divine, it's in everything. Like it's not just in things that are deemed beautiful, but every human being is beautiful in some way, and they need to express themselves to find that beauty within themselves and like and share it with the world, right? Like they really need to love themselves, and that's true beauty. Like for me, is like love is the true beauty. Like when you know that you have that like acceptance and love for yourself, I think you see beauty in everything and everyone, and you also are beautiful regardless of what some people may say or think or whatever. Like you are beautiful regardless of anything, because you are in this like divine state of love, and there's nothing more beautiful than that, you know.
I love that response, and I agree so much. And I love that you're like the catalyst for others to discover that, and that then whatever it is that they're participating in, like you said, the models, it winds up being an expression of that beauty because they feel so comfortable to just be themselves. So I love that. It's very empowering and very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I did pin two of your photos to this space on Twitter. And I just think they're beautiful. One's in nature, one, just the colors are lovely, the balance. And then also one other one is one of the models. And like her body is in a movement that like to me is just so free flowing. It's like the strokes of the paint. And that's also like on her body. It's just gorgeous.
Thank you. Yeah, she's Letitia. She's a very talented dancer, performer. She's a ballerina and acrobat. She does like Cirque du Soleil performances and stuff. So she's a very professional, and she understood the assignment very well. And it was a beautiful collaboration that we did. And I painted first on a canvas as the background. I did a few strokes on the canvas as the background, and then I painted on top of her body, um, and she just created these shapes, kind of flowed the same way, like you said, with brush strokes themselves. And she became the painting, like it merged as one thing. So yeah, I love that piece as well. Thank you.
And Giancarlo, did you have, oh, actually, it's my question. Excuse me, I lost track. You have two collections. You have two collections currently. Your original Genesis collection on Foundation and another one on Manifold. And both of them share the theme of the travelers. Can you share with us who the travelers are and what message you are hoping to express through these collections?
Sure, yeah. So the Travelers is a collection that I've actually been working on for a very long time, probably like 4 or 5 years or more. Um, I've been drawing from a flow state, kind of channeling these beings, and without using reference, like they would just come to me. And the time traveler is a character that is usually wearing a hat with a third eye, a hat similar to the one I'm wearing. So it's kind of like a representation of self, and consciousness, and these beings of light. So the travelers are beings of light who are timeless beings, and there is no time and space. They are one. They are one with the entire universe. So they're expressions of the universe, and they're here to spread love, and they're here to spread awareness um, and healing, and empowerment. So it's all about empowerment, oneness, consciousness, and universal expressionism is what I call it. Is it the expression of the universe, and I'm a vessel for that expression. So, I'm grateful to be a vessel for the universe to work through me, and all of these digital paintings. This is the digital Genesis collection. The one you see in the screen right now is the Genesis digital collection, and I created these on Procreate without reference, without a plan, in a flow state, just not knowing where it's going to go, and that's the best part for me. And created these travelers, and there's only I believe 14 travelers. Jennifer owns 2 of them, so yeah, she's the queen of the travelers at the moment, and she has the only female one, which is a collaboration with 3Minx. Really love that collaboration. And yeah, the travelers and the time travelers is the character that I'm going to be moving forward with the new manifold contracts, and I've done a couple of editions that sold out, and those editions are going to be very limited. Even though they were open editions, they were limited to only 24 hours, and the cap would be whoever minted within those 24 hours gets, and there's no more created, no more editions created. So, and they're kind of rare because I'm only doing a few editions. I'm not going to do like 100 or 1,000 of them, but I am also going to be doing more one of one time travelers in black and white and in color. So I'm actually going to be dropping a color traveler, and it's a time traveler in the Genesis collection next Tuesday, and we're gonna have a spatial party, where like there's gonna be a time lapse of me creating the piece on the theater that Jennifer made for the travelers, and it's also gonna be the drop date for that piece. And it's going to be revealed during the space. So if you can make it next Tuesday, 7 to I would say 9-10 p.m. We'll be here on on Twitter and also Spatial, sharing that piece on the Genesis collection, and then I'm contemplating using Manifold going forward for the Time Travelers collection, the black and white collection. But I'm not 100% sure if I want to continue using Manifold for that due to some experiences that I've had. So I might move over to Known Origin. I'm not really sure yet. I'm going to decide that in the coming weeks. But yeah, that's the Time Traveler and the Traveler collection. Yeah.
So Sarkis, is there, and I know you mentioned a couple ones that are a bit special, but I don't know, is there a particular traveler that maybe is you consider like your favorite, or that you're particularly fond of out of the 14?
Yeah, there's a couple of them that I am like, I could call my favorites. And you can probably walk around the spatial and find it. So if you go turn around to the other side, turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around, keep going. There, go back, go back. No.
No.
Yes, right there. So you see that piece with multiple time travelers, a dolphin, more eyes and more creatures in the back, and just lots of life in that one. That one's really deep. So that one is one of my favorites, and it's also the most premium one. It's the most expensive one in the collection because it is my favorite, and it has the time travelers in it, multiple, and the dolphin, which is one of my favorite creations, animals. So that's a special one. And the other one is the alien. I really love the alien with the third eye. I channeled that alien one day, and as I was drawing that alien, I got a phone call from a friend. And she started talking to me about her alien encounter. And I was like, whoa. I am just drawing an alien right now as you're talking to me about this. So yeah, it was very interesting to have that moment. There's also a fish on the right to that. Yeah, and there's other things going on in the background. That's like the fabric of the universe. The backgrounds is the fabric of the universe. Time and space is being warped, and yeah, the travelers are all traveling through time and space, which is a very abstract, multi-dimensional thing. It's actually not linear as we see it or experience it.
Cool. No, thank you for sharing that. It's funny, that first piece you mentioned was one that I was like particularly drawn to when I just kind of was scanning your collection before, prepping for the interview. And that's the one I picked for like the little like flyer thing, just out of pure coincidence too, which is interesting. But no, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you. I noticed you chose that for the background
I didn't
too.
even ask you.
Yeah.
It was just the one I was like, that one. I just went for it.
Yeah, I love that one. That one, that whole collection actually took me a couple of months because I had to get used to like using Procreate too. And I was just using tons of layers. And I wanted to really like go deep into like the tiniest details. So it's very expressive and it's very free flowing, but it's also very highly balanced. All the pieces are very balanced, and like if you zoom into any square inch of it, it's a complete painting. Um, it's like, I don't know, like you really need to look at them at a big scale, or zoom into them and take your time with them, because there's a lot of energy in them. And there's a lot of like very potent energy in the art that I create, because I'm so immersed in it, and I'm so focused. Like my entire being is focused on the painting. I'm not thinking about anything else. Like nothing else exists, and all my energy is being channeled into my creations. So that energy is where the value lies.
Now, you're a fine artist and you've exhibited several times at in-person events. As a traditional artist who embraced technologies like your spatial, which is phenomenal, social media, obviously, and blockchain technology, what advice would you give other fine artists who are interested in embracing technology?
I like that question. I think as an artist, and as any creative or professional, like keeping up with the current tools that we have and the current mediums that we have, and being in tune with like what is happening now in the world around us, is kind of like an important part of being an artist, and like capturing the times and expressing ourselves with what we had during those times, because it's unique to those times. And when you go back in time 100 years from now, people are going to look back and they are going to look at people who created digital art and got into Web3 space and NFTs. And that's going to be like a chapter or a book in the art textbooks at some point. So, and it's going to be studied. It's going to be a cultural phenomenon to be studied. And it's going to transform culture whether we like it or not. So it's like, it's not really about how you feel about something that's going to affect the world around you. It's about like the cold hard facts that there are thousands or millions of people who are going to use it, who are going to benefit from it, who are going to use the tools that they have available for their benefit. And if you're not using it, I believe that you're kind of leaving something on the table, and it could be something that you like and you don't know you'll like it until you try it. And if you don't like it, it's okay to stop using it. So it's not like nobody's holding you hostage to use any technology or any tool. It's really your choice and it's available. So why not experiment with it and see what you can do and what you can learn from it and who you can meet through it ultimately? Because I think that the best thing that came from my experience of being in the Web3 space are the connections that I made through it, are the people that I became friends with through it. And then we're having these conversations because of that. And there's so much value there that has nothing to do with the technology. Like, it has nothing to do with NFTs. It has nothing to do with any of the financial aspect of it. It's more than one thing. It's as multidimensional, and I would say give it a chance. If you don't like it, you could always stop using it.
I love that answer. Yeah, I agree. I feel like it's easy to fall on, well, I only do this and I only create in this way. But if you give it a shot, you might like it. And like you said, I think the real value here is the ability to connect with so many people, which any artist benefits from. Because at the end of the day, like, an artist wants their art to be seen. That's, and connect. So I agree. And I think that's great advice
Exactly.
for anybody who is on the fence or thinking about it and maybe listening to this interview today. I have a question about artists in general. Like, do you have favorite artists in or outside Web3, or maybe both?
Um, it's a hard question to answer because I just love art and artists so much, and every artist is so unique, and incomparable to other artists. But what I resonate with more, um, is like the traditional painting, the textures, and like the expressions. Um, I love digital art and I love like animations and Procreate and all that stuff too. But I'm more like I I'm more in tune with like people like um, Willem de Kooning, or you know I really love, for example, from living artists, and one of my friends, Zoe Rose Schwartz, like her work. I collect her work as well. Um, I think her work is just brilliant and beautiful and unique. She's a painter. She also makes some digital art as well, but she's just an amazing, like, expressive, figurative painter. Um, I resonate with her work. I resonate with our friends that are in our space that I collect. Every person that I collect from, I love their work. Um, you know, it's hard to just say one name for me because it's hard to pick a favorite when I love everyone. And yeah, like, I really appreciate what everyone creates so much because it's it's also necessary. Like, it all has so much value. Like, I don't hold one above the other so much. I just hold the value of, like, let's create and let's keep creating and never stop creating, and let's co-create and let's have a good time. It's really not that serious. Um, there's a lot of um, pretension in art sometimes, and it's like, oh, this sucks, this is good, this is bad, this is whatever. Like, and yeah, like, I may not resonate with a lot of art. Like, I may not like a lot of art. Like, it may not resonate with me, but I know that it's going to resonate with other people. So it doesn't mean it's bad art. It just means that it's something that's not for me and it's for others. And my art could be for certain people and maybe not for others, and that's okay too, because there is that, like, frequency of resonance. Like, do you resonate with the frequency in which I'm creating in, which is love and universal energy, or not? It's pretty clear. And it's not personal either. So that's something to remember as an artist. Like, don't ever take um, anything personally. Like, when someone says, "Oh, that's what you made," or like makes like a negative comment on what you create, like, that could be really disheartening for sensitive artists because we are sensitive. And I don't want anyone to be like, "Oh, like, people don't like my work, so I'm just gonna stop making it." That's the wrong approach. Like, you're making your art because it feels good, and you're a creator and you love creating. And there are going to be people who love it, and there are going to be people who resonate with it, and you are going to get better at it too. So you have to keep going. Um, yeah, that's just. I guess I went in a tangent. I answered your question, but like
No, that's
I
great.
wanted to expand on like why. I don't want to give you a clear answer on who my favorite artists are.
No, it makes perfect sense, actually.
Yeah, I love the answer and the tangent as well, because I think the tangent you went in is an important message for a lot of people to hear, right? Because I think it's easy when you are emotional and when we have a tendency to want to take things personally, to, you know, for example, your art doesn't sell, or maybe you don't get as many likes on something, that you feel like, well, maybe I'm just not good enough, or people just don't like what I create, you know. But I think it's an important message you said, that, like, you know, maybe it's just, you know, certain, you know, and also the frequencies and the stuff that you create. I mean, it could be different, and it can resonate and, you know, vibe with different people, right? And it's important. You said, just, you know, keep creating because you love to create, and putting it out there in the world, and maybe just the right person hasn't seen that particular piece yet, you know. You just haven't, you know, haven't connected with the right person for that particular type of work or art you created. But so I love that message you said about, you know, by just continuing to create, to put that out there, and obviously with continuing to practice, we can continue to improve our skills and get better at whatever we do, right? So I love that. And even your answer about, like, the favorite artist, right? And that, like, you know, not trying to put one above the other, because at the end of the day, like, art is very subjective as well, right? And it all has its own beauty in its own way, right? So I love that, you know, that saying that, you know, yeah, it's, you can find beauty and appreciation in so many different types of art, you know. And it's very different. It's not something just easily quantifiable, right, as well. So I think that's a
Yeah.
beautiful answer. Yeah.
I also want to add that like if I had to pick a favorite artist
Mm-hmm.
that's not alive, so no one feels a
Yeah.
certain way, is Salvador Dali.
Mm.
And I had the opportunity, thanks to Jennifer, when I visited Tampa. She got me a great gift, and you know, uh, I got to go to the museum, the Dali Museum, and I got to see like his paintings and drawings in person, and it was just, I don't know, it was like a revelation, because I've always loved his work. I've seen some of his drawings in the past, but I hadn't seen most of his paintings in person, and seeing them in person is always a different experience. And it was just incredible, and I really resonate with his art. Like I really resonate with his brain and how he thinks, and like um the surreal, and like the hidden messages and faces and all these things, his expressions and how he drew. Um yeah, I really resonate with Dolly. Just want to say that.
Yeah, I'm also a huge fan of his work. And funny enough, I've seen his work live outside of the U.S., but I've never actually been to the museum in Tampa. So that's still on my list of things I need to go do. So, but yeah, I'm also a big fan of his work. And speaking about, you know, just your work and projects and things like that, I was curious, if you could tell us a little bit more about any upcoming projects or goals that you have for your art career, and maybe what we can expect to see from you in the future, outside of the, you know, the spatial thing that you're planning, that's coming up next. But any other interesting projects, goals, and things you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to share too much because um I kind of manifest things as I go, and I don't really plan much for the future. I just kind of have visions, and I have manifestations, and don't really want to talk about it too much before they come true. Um, and but I do want to share that I will be exhibiting more near the end of the year in physical, like events, IRL events, and more. I will be doing more like live painting online and in person. So that's something exciting to look forward to. I've been live painting in the past for a few years now. I started live painting on Instagram Live in 2020 during the pandemic. I was going to be doing some like in-person live painting sessions, and everything was canceled, and I couldn't do that. So I was like, let's just pivot, use the tools that we have. And I started just like streaming every day. I started streaming live every day, what I was creating, what I was painting. And I started to connect with other artists that way and paint together. And I made some really great friends and connections that way. And kind of want to really bring that back. I want to bring that energy back in those live sessions, because just like how you guys saw today, like
Yeah.
it's a special connection that I'm able to make in my process with people, because the process really shows how energetically and quickly and in free form I create these things. Like, I'm not here sketching out what I'm about to create, and not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just that's not my process. So what I just go. I don't really measure anything. I don't think about where something's gonna go. I just let my hands take care of all the work, and I observe as I do it.
Let me ask you a question, actually, about the piece you made, right? So, because I'm intrigued by this, like, as you're drawing it, did the vision of the whole thing pop into your mind and then you completed it, or no? You're just, creating stuff and it's just forming itself before you. Yeah.
Pretty much. It's just happening.
In real
I am
time.
witnessing it. I am witnessing it in real time coming to life just as much as everyone else is. That's why it's so exciting and special. Even when I draw the time travelers, each time traveler is different. Each time traveler is unique. It's not like the other time traveler. There are similarities, yes, for sure. But every stroke, every one is very unique. And I guess there's a method to the madness, but that method is up for variance at any time, every time. And it's always an experiment. So like I can do something differently every single time that I draw, slightly differently, and I could learn something from that. So it's kind of like life. I treat my artistic process as same as life. Got to do things, and you got to repeat, and you got to have reps and repetition, but you got to also do things a little differently every time. Just that like slight tweak and experimentation can go a long way in increments over time. Like, it could exponentially help us grow and expand.
Love that.
You live by a mantra, a way of life that you've shared on your Tuesday spaces, which you refer to as art is love. Can you explain how art is love and how this mindset and way of life can have a therapeutic and positive impact on our lives? And maybe just a follow-up question, like, and how have you benefited from it personally?
I love that question. Art is love. As much as art is life, and life is art, and life is also love. So love is a frequency, and that frequency connects us all together as one. Universe, right? Universe, that the word says uni means one, and verse is a word for song. So you can see the word universe as one song or a symphony, right? So like we have to work harmoniously within the universe, whether that's on Earth, outside of Earth, doesn't matter, right? Like within this universe, the law of the universe says love is oneness, and oneness requires harmony and balance. So love is working as one, as a unit, or being one with everything. And art is when I'm in that place of creation, I am one with everything. Therefore, I am love, and I am in love, in this frequency of love. And that's the energy that I'm channeling, and I'm putting it onto paper, canvas, digital, photo, whatever. Everything that I touch becomes art because I am in that frequency that connects me to everything as this one entity, and one consciousness, shared infinite consciousness. That's what the time traveler represents. Is love represents that shared consciousness, collective consciousness, that we're not separate. We're not separate beings. We appear to be separate beings in this 3D world. And, you know, I think that causes a lot of trouble in our world to continue seeing separation, whether that's separation on borders or separation between people. I don't think that, I think that we're all one race, you know, the human race. As humans, we're all one race, and even beyond that, we are one with everything else outside of humans too. We're one with the animals, we're one with the coral reefs, we're one with the ocean, we're one with Earth, we're one with the stars. We're made with the same matter that the stars are made out of, and we think that we're separate from it. And I think the therapeutic and the healing aspect of that is you are not alone. You're not separate. You are loved. You are love, and you will forever be love. And nothing can take that away from you. And just don't give into fear, because fear is the antidote to love. And it's the thing that holds most of us back from being ourselves, and from, you know, reaching our full potential, and being fully ourselves and loving ourselves. If we are able to not judge ourselves and not judge others, and be come from this place, this frequency of love, where we're aware of what we do and what we say has an impact outside of ourselves, and that effect has a butterfly effect that goes on forever. I think we'll be very mindful and intentional on how we behave and how we speak, and the things that we put out in the world, and the energy that we exude, because the energy that you exude is the energy you will attract. And the more you are love. The more you exude love, the more you will attract love and receive it. That's just my experience. These are not theories. These are my experiences, and I'm just sharing my point of view from my experience.
No, that was beautifully said. I mean, like, mic drop on that one.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna
Thank you.
clip that. Just
I
write it
know.
down. I'm like, yeah, no, it's beautiful
That's
and
wonderful.
deep. Yeah, love that.
Thank you.
I was actually like almost visualizing some kind of like art piece or something, you know, like the art, love, life, you know, all of them just, you know, I don't know. Just had these like visions in my mind, you know, when you were talking about it. But yeah, just such a beautiful, yeah, no, just love that so much. Yeah.
Yeah, as
Thank
you
you.
were saying it, I actually thought of the alien piece in a totally different way now. I mean, I love the alien piece, but then I'm like, oh, so maybe the aliens, like, he time traveled and then we're all connected. And so, like, in my head, I'm like, well, why the fish and the alien? But it makes so much sense now because of how you just expressed it. Because we are fish, we are all things. So why would an alien come to us necessarily, like, as humans? It's just human condition that we would think that an alien would come to another human being because we're like the apex of life on this planet. But no, you know,
So we think.
yeah, so we think, right? The ocean is like as as alien as it could be, right, on our own planet. And it just makes so much sense that these two creatures would align with each other. So thank you for that answer. Very inspirational, very beautiful.
Thank you.
I see we
And
have,
I like the connection you made with the fish in the ocean and the aliens. I do believe that if there were quote unquote aliens, you know, because aliens is a word like they're not from here, you know, like it just means not from here, foreign. Um, I think humans are not from here. If you look at the data, I mean, look at, obviously you have like, you know, like the octopus and like all these creatures, the cuttlefish, and like, yeah, they must be aliens, right? And they must not be from Earth. But why are humans the only creatures on Earth actually destroying the planet? So that makes me think, right? Like, are humans not of Earth? Are humans not from here? Some humans? Are we mixed? Are we inbred? Like what is what?
Certain humans certainly behave like they don't appreciate this world, that's for sure.
Yeah, and within nature there's harmony, right? Like there's balance. And I think the humans are throwing off that balance. Not every human, but like, you know, as a civilization, it's been going in that direction for a long time. And I want to like bring more awareness to how connected we are to this planet and nature, and make a point, because you know, we have to start seeing it that way and start seeing that we're part of it, not separate from it or above it, because we're totally not above nature. Like if there had to be a contest between nature and us, we will lose. So we have to be very mindful of that, that power. Like you can believe in whatever you want, whatever religion or God that you believe in, but we're living in it. We're living on it. We're part of it, and if we don't have respect for it, then who's the alien? Are we the alien,
who's the
or
alien?
who's the alien?
It's a great question. Oh man. So one thing I wanted to ask you, Sarkis, and maybe you already touched a little bit on this as well, but what are you passionate about outside of art and in Web3?
That's a great question. I have a lot of different areas of interest and passion. Uh, my main passion being life. I'm passionate about life and everything that life has to offer. Um, art, life is art to me. Like that's my ultimate masterpiece is my art, is my life and my story and everything that I do. And I really love cooking. I really love skateboarding. I really love being in nature, like swimming in the ocean, surfing, hiking. Um, I'm really passionate about connecting with other like-minded people. Um, I'm passionate about building community. I'm passionate about love. I'm passionate about the present moment. I'm passionate about like literally like drinking water. I'm passionate about everything. It's just a state of being. Like I'm just passionate.
I love it. Yeah, and I think that first answer really encapsulates it. Like passionate about life, you know, just the
Yeah.
experiences and all of it. That's awesome. And I was just checking now if anybody does want to come up and request to speak, feel free to do so. I'd love to have you guys join us. Let us know how you're doing. If you want to come up and ask Sarkis a question. I also saw that David was in the audience. I'm sure maybe he was getting a kick out of out of the alien conversation as well. So if you want to give us some of your thoughts on aliens, feel free to come up, Dave. Would appreciate that. And while we wait for other speakers, one of the questions we usually ask people, here, and I always find it interesting to see people's answer to this is, what are your like top 3 favorite movies of all time?
Top 3 favorite movies of all time. Damn, asking me another favorite question. I'm so bad at choosing favorites of things. Damn. This is so hard. Even though I saw this question before, I'll admit like I've gotten the question in advance, but I still I still don't know the answer to it. I can't recall. Like I don't know. I really love film, and they're also different. I like movies that are more real, um, like something that could be real life.
Oh, I accidentally hit the mic button. Sorry, guys. Circus, you have to unmic because I messed up. I'm sorry.
Oh, my mic was off. No, your mic is off.
Oh, my mic is off. Oh boy. Okay. That's what was
Okay.
happening.
Yeah. Yeah. So the question was, do I have 3 favorite movies? And just like my artist question, I don't have 3 favorite movies. Um, I love I love like documentary films, and I love movies. I've been watching movies since I was a baby, so I can't really pick one or 3, but I would recommend a couple to check out that come to mind. Um, I'd say check out Samsara. I think I mentioned it before in previous space. Samsara is a very interesting film. It's silent. There are no words, but it's a masterpiece of visually and culturally and everything that it like shows. It's a mind fuck. Like it blows your mind. Um, and what else? Like I like the movies like um, like Avatar as well, because like they really use technology to like express something um that has meaning too, like what I was saying earlier, like are humans the aliens, or because the humans in those movies are also the ones destroying the the nature and these beautiful creatures and all that. So there's a story behind that as well. Uh yeah, just I don't know, movies. I love movies. I can't pick one or two.
Yeah, no, I can kind of feel you on that as well, because I
You're
mean,
muted.
am I muted? Oh, I was muted in the I got confused. I was muted in the space and not the not my other thing over here. Yeah, no, I can relate on that as well, because it can be hard to pick like a favorite, and especially because there's so many different genres and things like that, right? So it's like, how do you
Yeah.
choose across those? But I haven't seen
Yeah.
Samsara, so I'm gonna check that out. Actually, now I'm very intrigued to
Yeah.
watch that one. So putting that on the list.
Yeah.
And I know we got several speakers. I think I captured the right order, but I lost track there for a second. But I think I saw Luco come up first, and I see Anna also has her hand up. We can go to you, Luco, first. You want to unmute?
Oh, if you want Anna talk, I'm okay.
Hey, Anna. It's fine.
Oh my God, that's so funny. So gentleman of you, Luco. Thank you so much. Well, first of all, thank you for the wonderful space. Last week and this week, Sarkis, it was absolutely a pleasure to hear you speak because I was just in your seat last week. So I actually have two questions that I had kind of like not burning in me while I was listening to it. And funny enough, at TGIF, I went to the pool. I was in the water while I was chilling and listening to you speak. So it was just like a complete nirvana moment for me. So, number one question is, how do you stay so chill all the time? Does anything ever aggravates you? I mean, hello, you're from New York. I know. So that's number one. And the second question is, how are you related? No, hold on. Let me rephrase this. Are you related in any way? Are you connected with your own culture in any way? I know you said in the beginning of the space that you were born in Turkey, but I don't remember if you said you were Turkish. I don't think you were. I don't think you said that. But are you somehow, anyway, connected to your culture? I mean, are there any specific things that you enjoy doing? Speaking from the immigrant life. So I'm just saying. So both questions are deeply related to my personal state of being. I try to stay calm as much as I possibly can, even though I have not been diagnosed with anything. But sometimes, like, uh, I don't have the patience for the stupid. I'm just saying, this is just like me and life in general. But my best calmest moment is when obviously creating art. So, anyways, go ahead, answer that.
Well, thank you so much, Anna, for your energy and your questions. Really loved it. I think what keeps me chill, I'm not always 100% chill all the time, but I am chill most of the time. It's a practice. It just, practicing patience, practicing like, love and empathy, and um, I just don't take things personally. That's another thing that like I had to learn over time, not taking things personally, and it's like it's pretty easy when you don't take anything personally, not to get mad at a lot of things. Also, like you said, you don't have patience for stupid. That's funny. It's I also don't really have too much patience for stupid, but I don't know. it's like stupid's a weird word, right? Like I don't really want to call people stupid, but at the same time, like it could be annoying sometimes to, you know, speak or deal with certain people who may not see the same way you do or understand life the same way you do. And I don't like labeling them a certain way. I just say, oh, we're not compatible. Our energies are not compatible. And I remove myself from that environment or situation or person. I just kind of curate my life so that it's not surrounded by people who aggravate me. And if it's the people who I love that are the challenge, which could be a lot of times challenging, you know, you can't really run from that. You can't, you know, you're not supposed to run from that. The whole point of that is to learn to be patient. It's all a big lesson, and it's all a big blessing. So it's all lessons and blessings. And if we see life as a bunch of a series of lessons and blessings, and not take anything personally, and just kind of be the observer and not the reactor, and respond to situations as you can. Like sometimes no response is a response, is the best response. So you don't always have to respond either. You could just kind of let things die out and let people talk and walk away. You can set your boundaries. That's the way I do it. What's that?
Oh, and I guess maybe the
I
second on the
can't hear
second.
the.
I don't hear Anna either, but can you hear me?
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Okay,
hear
okay.
you. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I was just in the middle of something, so I couldn't unmute myself. The second question is about being related to your culture in any way possible, shape or form.
All right. Sorry, I forgot the other question. Culture. I'm related to culture and all cultures. Um, Not specifically my own, but definitely have. Obviously, I was brought up by my family who's from Turkey, and we're Armenian from Turkey. Um, so we are Turkish Armenian, and and yeah, I have some culture that I still keep. Like I don't allow any shoes in the house, and I have certain standards for hospitality in my life. So like, if my friends come over to my house, or any guest comes over to my house, or my exhibition or whatever, I made sure that they're well fed, taken care of, and they never feel like they're not at home. Um, so that's like a thing that stuck with me, and I learned from my family and from my culture, is to always be hospitable, always be kind, and um, don't wear shoes in the house.
Thank you for that. That's actually something we really have in common in our household. So I appreciate Sarkis for answering these questions for me, and keep creating, keep inspiring. Again, I appreciate you and everyone who actually took the time to listen to Sarkis. He's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, have a wonderful Friday, guys. I'm gonna mute out.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Anna.
Anna.
Thank you, Anna.
Now we're gonna go next to the gentleman Luco. How you doing, brother?
Yo, what's up, fam? How are you, familia? ¿Cómo están?
Hey, fam.
What's up, Luco? How's it going, brother?
Amazing, bro. I'm so happy to be here for real. First of all, I want to give the flowers, of course, to the beautiful host, Giancarlo and Jennifer, for this amazing space. Thank you. Every single week, super dope moments, super fun. And thank you so much, Sarkis, man. I really Appreciate you so much, man. I'm super happy to hear from you, your story a little bit more, to meet you more. You know how I mean. So that's the vibe. I actually have one question, and it's about the travelers. How do you see the travelers? You see it like a movement, or you see it like a brand?
It's definitely a movement. It's definitely an expression. It's an authentic expression. It's not a brand. It's not a character that I created uh, for likes or views or anything like that. It's definitely it's me. It's who I am. Right. The travelers are me. I am the traveler. I am the time traveler, and I am expressing my truth. And with each traveler, I'm expressing energy and a moment in time, and also, you know, um, I'm gonna be telling more stories going forward with each traveler, and the travelers will be, um, continuing to share more insight, um, wisdom, and kind of like words of um, empowerment and kind of like what I've been doing with my good morning posts with like the photos of me and having like a quote, um, like an inspirational quote of sorts, and uh, and write the time traveler instead of my own name because they don't belong to me. These thoughts don't belong to me. They're for everybody, and the time traveler is everybody. So
Bro, thanks. I love that answer so much. I ask you because I actually, since I meet you, I feel so connected. I'm not gonna lie, I see you as like my super dope uncle. With like because we have like a similar vision, our form of creation, that flow state so similar. I feel just so connected with you, and I wanted to ask you that because well, you all know we have like talking in your spaces and all the things. Like my movement, my personal movement is art, is living, el arte de vivir. So I feel so connected with that idea. So thank you so much, man, for that response. I love it, and I'm super glad to be on this space today. Thanks so much, fam. Gracias. A big hug to all of you.
thank you, Luco. Much love to you, and I definitely feel connected. And I love what you say about art and how you create. And there's definitely, um, there's a connection in our frequencies, 100%.
Thank you, Luco. Have a good Friday. Have a good weekend, brother. All right, I'm gonna go next to Akash. How you doing?
Hello everyone.
Hi, gosh.
Hi, I wish you all a fantastic day, and I would like to express my appreciation and gratitude always to my amazing hosts, Jennifer and Giancarlo, and also hello everyone in the spaces, Anna, Anastasia, Zura Saga, Carlos, Nefemi. Hello everyone. Wish you all top of the day. So, and now we have the legend himself, Sarkis. And this is my the first conversation with you. I deeply respect this opportunity. So while I'm not an artist myself, my interest lies in AI and medicine. However, I have always had a deep love for designs and artwork since my childhood. Now I'm exploring the world of art and Web3 for the first time, and I believe it presents a golden opportunity for discovery. As just Jennifer expressed her tweet yesterday, when new tools are provided, it's a crucial to get an early and learn. Every decision yield exponential results, and I believe that wholeheartedly. So currently, I'm learning fascinating concepts that were previously unknown to me, and I can draw a connection between your photography work and saying I admire every picture has a story, and every story has a moment that you love to share. So in upcoming days, I plan to start my own art collection, including NFTs. So with that in mind, I have a few questions. So what would you recommend someone begin? How would you recommend someone begin their artwork, art collection? What advice would you offer to newcomers who are uncertain about where to start? And another question, what role does personal taste play in building an art collection? Do you believe it's important to follow your instincts, gut, and select pieces that resonate with you and your profound levels? And lastly, as an artist, you yourself in amazing arena, how do you approach the intersection of art, technology, and human emotion? And how does technology enhance or deepen our emotions, connections to art? And last but not the least, I truly believe whatever you said about manifestation, that we are the living manifestation of our destiny. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Akash, for your questions and your kind words. I, having the brain I have, I'm not going to remember
All the questions.
all those questions in a row. So, the first one, I've already forgot. I'm sorry what it was. It's just my brain doesn't work in too many questions. Can you ask one at a
No,
time, please?
actually, it was how would you recommend someone begin their artwork and art collection? What advice would you offer to newcomers who would uncertain about where to start?
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I do recommend that you don't really overwhelm yourself when you first start a collection and try to think too big. Because I did that. I'm just telling you from my experiences, like kind of like what I guess what I wouldn't do again. Um, like don't think too big off the bat. Have a big vision for the future, but um, think long term. But think about how you want to start off your story for the long term, and just stay authentic to who you are and what you want to say. Um, keep it a small collection at first, and experiment with that small collection, and then expand to a bigger collection afterwards. That's what I would recommend.
Oh, wow, that means it connects to my second question as well. And lastly, as an artist, you yourself, how do you approach the intersection of art, technology, and human emotion? How can technology enhance or deepen our emotion connecting to art? Because I believe every art has an emotion that connects us.
Yeah, that's a great question, and something that like I would really dive deep into another time as well. But right now, I would say, in short, that technology has the ability to connect us to people who are not in our vicinity, and we can connect with people all over the world. It's a global connection, and I believe that there's nothing that can replace in-person emotional connection to art and to people. So there's nothing that is actually going to replace that. But it's going to be a great supplement, and it's going to allow us to, and it is allowing us to connect with people who we wouldn't normally be able to connect with based on our geolocation. And it's helping us connect in different ways, like using the metaverse, VR, like going into spatial gallery, and like what we're going to be doing on Tuesday in my space. We're going to go into the spatial gallery and look at the art. If you have a VR headset, you can connect deeper to the artwork that way, and there's definitely ways to connect deeper using this technology, and using voice, for example, that like we're using right now, voice and video. We're able to connect deeper. more than texts and images that we did prior. So yeah.
Oh wow, I completely agree with you, and I haven't considered all these things before. Thank you so much, and thank you, Jennifer, Giancarlo, and Sarkis, and everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Akash. I appreciate your questions.
Thank you, Akash. Hope you have a great day, great weekend. I know we have one more speaker, and I know that we got to kind of try to wrap it up, right? So, hey, David, how you doing?
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going
Hey,
well.
Good to be here.
Hey,
It's
David.
wonderful. Hey Jennifer. Hey Giancarlo. Hey Sarkis. It was awesome to hear you talk about your art and history and stuff. Yeah, I loved hearing the conversations because we've had a few before about your flow state style and stuff, and I've been doing that style for a while, and I just think it's really cool to connect with people that kind of think the same way as far as their way they're doing their art and stuff and how they're making it. The way when you were talking earlier about how like how does it come about? Like, do you have any thought of where it's gonna go? And you're like, no, it's just like it's almost like improv. Like you just kind of seeing as it goes on to the paint and to the canvas or digital. It's like that's so cool to be able to figure out like an image from that.
Yeah, thank you, David.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we definitely resonate there. I love your artwork too, and
Thank you.
I've seen your paintings and your glass work and all of that. It's great, and
Yeah, the
just
flow state behind glass is awesome.
I
I know we
yeah,
talked
I
about
gotta do
earlier.
more
Like,
of
I want
that.
you to try it one day.
Yeah, I gotta use the glass more. I'm gonna get more into it. I've painted on glass before.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I really love the layers that you can build on glass, and then build layers of glass too. So
Yeah,
that's fun. Yeah,
they're so cool because it becomes like 3-dimensional and stuff.
exactly. Yeah.
But that's awesome. Well, I did have one question. Your human travelers, like the one like in your PFP, like do you have like a certain person in mind that you're doing? Because from what I'm seeing, it almost reminds me of you yourself. And I know you had explained earlier that like travelers like encompass everyone. But is that like yourself kind of like in the travelers, like
Yeah. I
because
love that
they're wearing
question.
hats and stuff?
It is an expression of self, but not me as Sarkis. So self is encompassing of all people who are all tuned into this collective consciousness. So the time traveler actually represents all men, all people, all humans. But it is a reflection of
and
self
aliens, right?
and aliens. Yeah, but
Yeah.
Don't forget
it's a
about that.
reflection of it's a projection and reflection of self. And there are some aspects of like my visual face in it sometimes, I guess, sort of like subconsciously. But it's definitely not like on purpose. I'm not trying to draw myself at all.
Very beautiful. I love that answer. Yeah,
Thank you.
I find myself when I'm painting like my self portraits, I'm always best at painting them because I feel like maybe it's just because it's myself and I know myself the most, maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe subconsciously, like some of your travelers come out as like an image of yourself.
Yeah. And they're images of me in different timelines and different dimensions. Yeah. The multiverse.
Okay. Yeah. You were talking earlier. I think we're definitely created somehow from aliens. Like we were like genetically tweaked a little bit from the caveman to where we are now.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
also,
There was an intervention there somewhere.
yeah, for sure. I mean, there's no scientific proof, but it's kind of there. Like as an observer, you kind of see what it is.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree with you. Oh, it's 222.
Yeah.
I got to
All
time
right,
travel,
Sarkis
guys.
has got to go. But thank you, David, for coming up to speak. Thanks, everyone that was
Yeah,
here in the
thanks for
space.
having me, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
And
you, David. Thank you, Giancarlo and Jennifer. I love you guys. Thank you for having the space and having me here. Really appreciate everybody who came as well and asked questions and listened and watched and all of that. And whoever is going to watch this later, I appreciate you guys too. Yeah, just one love and just keep creating, keep being yourselves. That's all I want to say.
Thank you, Sarkis.
yeah, thank you so
Thank you,
much,
Jennifer.
man. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here. Hope you have a wonderful Friday, wonderful weekend, and also looking forward to your space next Tuesday as well. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
All
I'm
right.
looking forward to your spaces as well.
all
Take
right.
care, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.